the program was going through a lot of change. So there was so many things which had to be redone. We were rewriting assessment, details of the assessments, resources, and so many things, so much work in such little time. So I think being time poor was a bit of a challenge. It was actually a big challenge. So we worked almost through the Christmas January break to get that happening, because we decided to implement it in December, and then we rolled it out in February across the whole program. So that was a big challenge given, so we had to work on rubrics and everything. So time was an issue. But as I said, collaborative conversations really helped, and teamwork helped a lot, because then everyone was happy to provide feedback to each other's rubric. So that once I gave mine as a template, then others started writing up theirs and started sending it around. So all of us helped everyone in the program. So that was really good. And, it was, we invited people to be involved and participate. So there was, and because the team members saw that this was a relevant activity, they were very enthusiastic. So that was really good. So there was 100% buy-in from the staff. That was brilliant. And of course, I went and sought help of learning advisors and academic developers in terms of the actual, details of the rubric, just to make sure that it's consistent across, if you want from a pass to a HD, just to make sure they're going through the right stages to get to HD, those sort of little details. And that was very helpful too. In terms of buy-in from students, because we rolled it out last semester, and all I did was just give them the rubric. So obviously they did not see the relevance. And we did get a few people a bit grumpy about why do I have to research so many, criteria for marking and things like that. And then also I did a little survey. I sent out an informal survey just to get a feel of where their understanding is at. And that really brought home the fact that they had not understood the purpose of the RSD rubric. But then I could use that information and implement it in my virtual classroom, where I could then actually make things more explicit. And then once students started seeing the relevance, and just straight after that one session, and in fact, that virtual classroom session goes on for 3 hours at a time, and we have to get through 50 cases. So I spent only the first maybe 10 minutes or so. And then the rest of it was not explicit, but we followed the same pattern of case discussion. Just after that, I got so many emails from students saying, now I see what all this means. And, this is really good. And this is actually what we have to do in workplace. But it's so nice to have it all, written out so we don't miss any step. So I thought now, okay, it's making sense to people. So, yeah, it's been a learning curve. And then based on that experience, then I kind of wrote a presentation for the next batch. So and that we learn as we go along as well. So I've given them a PowerPoint presentation on what this rubric means and things like that. And I'll develop that a bit more in a video for the next semester. It's a really good framework. So give it a go. Get started. Don't be afraid to get started, and start small. It's okay to start small. I mean, the way we approached it was we took the whole program approach, which would be ideal to have everything, through the program. But it's okay to even start with a course or even one particular assessment or something like that. And you can start small. Don't be afraid. That was my first tip. And also, I think, especially because we are so time poor all the time with so many responsibilities, I think it's good to look at what you've already got and just try tweaking that a bit, so that you don't make too much work for yourself, but you're trying to make what you've already got better. And then that is not too onerous a task then. And don't hesitate to have collaborative discussions or collaborations within the team, because that's very important. If you need to have a nice scaffolding happening through the program, then a programmatic approach would definitely be useful. And of course, program mapping activity would be very useful, because then your approach will be very focused and targeted, and it will achieve what you're trying to achieve.